21 Black R&B legends who married older women that will shock you. What if the legends we admire had lives filled with shocking secrets that the world never saw? What if behind the glamorous public images, there were hidden relationships, heartbreaks, and betrayals that shaped their journeys? From secret marriages to mysterious deaths, the untold stories of icons like Redd Foxx, Don Cornelius, and others will leave you speechless. Prepare to uncover the truth behind the glitz and glam, because sometimes, the real story is even more shocking than the fame itself. Join the conversation in the comments below, hit like, and don't forget to subscribe to Legends of Black Excellence for more. Bobby Womack was a legendary American singer, songwriter, and guitarist who made a profound impact on the soul, R&B, and rock music scenes. Known for his raspy voice and emotional delivery, Womack's music spanned over 5 decades and included numerous hits, such as If You Think You're Lonely Now and Across 110th Street. Womack's personal life was as tumultuous and dramatic as his music career. One of the most controversial moments in his life came when, at the age of 21, he married Barbara Campbell, the widow of his mentor Sam Cooke, in 1965. This marriage raised eyebrows, not only because of the significant age gap, Barbara was 10 years older than him, but also because it occurred shortly after Cooke's tragic death. The relationship was met with public disapproval, and Womack faced harsh criticism for marrying Cooke's widow. The drama surrounding Womack's life deepened when it was revealed that he had an affair with Barbara's daughter, Linda, in the early 1970s. The revelation of this affair shattered his relationship with Barbara, and Womack was kicked out of the household. His marriage to Barbara ended in scandal, and Womack's reputation took a significant hit, with many viewing him as a betrayer of his mentor's legacy. This scandal, along with his struggles with addiction and personal demons, led Womack to spiral into depression. In the years following the divorce, he faced a series of personal and professional challenges, but he never stopped making music. Bobby Womack's life was a testament to both his genius as an artist and his struggles as a human being. His raw, heartfelt music continues to resonate with fans, making him a timeless figure in the world of soul and R&B. Sammy Davis Jr. Sammy Davis Jr. was a multifaceted entertainer and one of the most iconic figures in American entertainment history. He was known for his incredible talents in music, acting, and dancing, as well as his integration into the Rat Pack with Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin. Sammy's career spanned over 5 decades, and he became a beloved figure in the entertainment industry, praised for his charisma and skill across many genres. Davis's personal life, however, was often just as dramatic as his public persona. In 1962, he married Clara Winston, a stage producer who was 12 years his senior. Clara was not only a major influence on Sammy's career but also played a significant role in shaping his artistic direction. However, their marriage was kept out of the public eye, reflecting the challenges Davis faced as a black man in Hollywood, often dealing with racism and prejudice. Their relationship was known to be close-knit and supportive, but it ended tragically in 1966 when Clara was killed in a car accident. Despite their deep bond, Sammy rarely spoke about her after her death, and the event profoundly impacted him. Clara's passing left Sammy to navigate the turbulent waters of fame and personal loss, but he continued to perform and thrive in his career. Sammy Davis Jr.'s legacy in the entertainment industry is marked by his trailblazing efforts in breaking racial barriers, but his personal relationships, particularly his marriage to Clara, remain one of the more poignant aspects of his complex life. Denzel Washington. Denzel Washington is one of the most celebrated and respected actors in Hollywood, known for his commanding screen presence, versatility, and powerful performances. With a career spanning over 4 decades, Washington has earned numerous accolades, including 2 Academy Awards for Best Supporting Actor and Best Actor. He is regarded as one of the greatest actors of his generation, known for his roles in films such as Training Day, Malcolm X, and Fences, all of which showcased his ability to bring depth and authenticity to every character he portrays. Denzel Washington's personal life has been notably stable, especially in Hollywood, where relationships often suffer under the weight of fame. He married Petta Pearson in 1983, a woman 4 years older than him. Petta has been a constant source of support throughout his career, encouraging him to take risks and build a legacy that would span generations. Despite the public pressure and intense scrutiny that comes with being a top Hollywood star, the couple's relationship remains strong. However, like many Hollywood marriages, Denzel and Petta faced challenges. In 1995, a tabloid scandal involving photographs of Denzel with a young actress nearly shattered their seemingly perfect marriage. Petta, despite her heartbreak, chose not to divorce him. Instead, the couple faced the issue privately, and their relationship survived, albeit forever changed by the incident. While their public appearances together have become rarer, their love and dedication to one another continue to stand as a model of endurance in the face of fame's challenges. Denzel's story is one of immense success, but also of personal reflection, growth, and the importance of family in navigating the pressures of stardom. His marriage to Peta Pearson, though not without its difficulties, remains an integral part of the story behind his enduring career. Marvin Gaye. Marvin Gaye, often hailed as the Prince of Soul, is one of the most influential figures in the history of R&B and soul music. His powerful voice and his ability to blend socially conscious lyrics with romantic ballads revolutionized the genre. Some of his iconic works include What's Going On, Sexual Healing, and Let's Get It On, albums that continue to define the sound and spirit of an era. Marvin's music became synonymous with social change, personal expression, and raw emotion, earning him both critical and commercial success. However, Marvin Gaye's personal life was far more turbulent than the smooth melodies he created. His marriage to Anna Gordy, the sister of Motown founder Berry Gordy, was controversial from the start. Anna, 17 years his senior, married Marvin in 1963, and their union was a clash of power dynamics and artistic control. While Anna was a key figure in Marvin's career, managing many aspects of his professional life, their marriage quickly became strained as Anna's influence over his work grew. By the time Marvin recorded What's Going On, a socially conscious album that reflected his own frustrations, their marriage had begun to deteriorate. The couple's divorce in 1977 was bitter, with Anna accusing Marvin of using his music to escape the confines of their marriage. Marvin's post-divorce years were marked by emotional instability, drug addiction, and financial struggles. Tragically, in 1984, just one day before his 45th birthday, Marvin was shot and killed by his father, an event that marked the untimely end of a musical genius's life. The legacy of his music lives on, but his personal life, especially his troubled marriage to Anna Gordy, remains a defining chapter in his complex story. Sidney Poitier. Sidney Poitier is a name that stands at the intersection of Hollywood history and social progress. As the first black man to win an Academy Award for Best Actor in 1964 for his role in Lilies of the Field, Poitier became not just a star, but a symbol of dignity, excellence, and defiance in the face of racial barriers. His groundbreaking performances in films like Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, To Sir, With Love, and In the Heat of the Night challenged stereotypes and provided a voice to the black community in ways that were previously unheard of in mainstream cinema. While his career trajectory was monumental, Poitier's personal life, particularly his relationship with Margaret Ellis, has often been overlooked. Poitier met Margaret, a white producer who was 15 years his senior, in 1965. The couple fell in love quietly, spending time together away from the public eye. Their romance was a stark contrast to the political and cultural climate of the time, when interracial relationships were still controversial, particularly for a high-profile figure like Poitier. Margaret Ellis, a sophisticated woman with a sharp intellect and quiet strength, was a pillar of support in Sidney's life. They maintained a low profile, with their bond remaining largely unknown to the public until years later. Tragically, in 1968, Margaret fell from a balcony under mysterious circumstances, and the police ruled her death as an accident. Sidney, devastated by the loss, never publicly mentioned her again, and the incident remained a painful chapter in his life that he chose not to revisit. Despite his extraordinary achievements, Poitier's love for Margaret was one of the more intimate and heartbreaking parts of his legacy. He continued to honor her memory in his own way, with an annual tribute on the anniversary of her death. James Brown. James Brown, the godfather of soul, transformed the landscape of music with his electrifying performances, rhythm-driven sound, and revolutionary style. His influence on R&B, funk, and soul cannot be overstated, and his hit songs like I Got You, I Feel Good, and Papa's Got a Brand New Bag became the soundtrack to a generation's revolutionary energy. Brown's life was marked by incredible highs, including his immense musical success, but also deep personal struggles and heartbreaks. In his private life, James Brown's relationship with Beatrice Hull, a nightclub owner 15 years his senior, is one of the more poignant and less discussed aspects of his personal story. Beatrice and James maintained a highly secretive relationship, and their bond was rarely acknowledged by the public. Beatrice, with her strong-willed personality and deep connection to the world of New Orleans nightlife, was a source of stability for Brown, who often struggled with the pressures of fame and addiction. However, their relationship ended tragically in 1975 when Beatrice died under mysterious circumstances. Officially ruled an accident, her death in a malfunctioning elevator has been the subject of much speculation, with some believing foul play may have been involved. After her passing, James Brown, devastated by the loss, never returned to New Orleans and avoided performing the songs that Beatrice had loved. Brown's life following Beatrice's death was marked by increasing paranoia, loneliness, and erratic behavior. Despite his continued success on stage, he was never able to regain the sense of personal peace he once found with her. James Brown's music lived on, but the memory of his secret love for Beatrice, and the tragic way their relationship ended, remained a deeply personal and unresolved chapter of his life. Quincy Jones. Quincy Jones is a musical legend whose career spans over 6 decades, and whose influence stretches far beyond just jazz, pop, and R&B. As a producer, arranger, composer, and trumpeter, Jones has played a pivotal role in shaping the sound of modern music. He is best known for his collaborations with Michael Jackson, including producing the iconic Thriller album, the best-selling album of all time. In addition to his work with Jackson, Jones' impressive career includes producing for artists like Frank Sinatra, Aretha Franklin, and Ray Charles. He has earned numerous accolades, including multiple Grammy Awards, and was a key figure in bringing black artists into the mainstream of the American music industry. Beyond his professional success, Jones' personal life is filled with fascinating stories, especially his secret marriage to Lorraine Grant, a French music critic who was 8 years older than him. They wed quietly in 1960, at a time when interracial marriages were still met with significant societal resistance. Lorraine, with her sharp intellect and a keen eye for music, was not only a partner in Jones' personal life but also had a profound impact on his musical direction. She helped him think deeper about his music, taking his compositions from arrangements to full musical narratives. However, in 1965, Lorraine vanished under mysterious circumstances. She was last seen boarding a train in Amsterdam to see Quincy, but she never arrived. 3 days later, her body was found in the Seine River, and the cause of death was never fully explained. While some speculate it was an accident, others believe her death was a result of something much darker. Despite the tragedy, Quincy rarely spoke of her publicly, and her memory seemed to fade from the public's eye. Lorraine's influence on Jones' life and music, however, is undeniably profound and remains a private chapter in his otherwise public career. Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby, once beloved as America's dad for his role as Dr. Heathcliff Huxtable on The Cosby Show, built a career on being the epitome of the wholesome family man. Throughout the 1970s and 1980s, Cosby was a trailblazer in television, comedy, and even activism, using his platform to break racial barriers and set new standards for black entertainers in Hollywood. His clean comedy, positive portrayal of black families, and groundbreaking work in education earned him widespread admiration and made him a household name. Behind the scenes, however, Cosby's personal life, particularly his relationship with Dorothy Wells, is a lesser-known but deeply significant chapter. Dorothy Wells, who was 14 years older than Cosby, was one of the first black female producers at WNBC and played a crucial role in helping Cosby break into television. She was instrumental in his career, guiding him early on and offering him the opportunity to showcase his talents in ways that were previously unavailable to black actors. Despite their close relationship, Cosby kept his love affair with Dorothy a secret, likely due to the racial and professional challenges they would have faced as an interracial couple. In 1978, after Cosby signed a long-term contract with NBC, Dorothy was suddenly removed from the show, and just 3 weeks later, she was found dead in her Manhattan apartment under mysterious circumstances. The official cause of death was listed as natural, but her death raised questions about her sudden disappearance from the industry and her connection to Cosby. For years after her death, Cosby erased all evidence of Dorothy from his life, refusing to publicly acknowledge her influence on his career. It wasn't until much later, during the waves of sexual assault allegations that would later define his career's downfall, that whispers began to circulate, suggesting that Dorothy had known too much about Cosby's personal life. By then, Dorothy was long gone, and Cosby's carefully curated public image had begun to unravel, leaving behind the shadow of the woman who once helped him rise to fame. Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor is considered one of the greatest stand-up comedians of all time, known for his fearless, groundbreaking comedy that addressed race, social issues, and personal struggles with raw honesty. Pryor's sharp wit, biting social commentary, and ability to turn pain into humor revolutionized the comedy world, making him a beloved and influential figure for generations. He is best known for his albums Is It Something I Said? And Live on the Sunset Strip, which captured the essence of his unfiltered style. However, Pryor's personal life was just as turbulent as his comedy. He had a relationship with Vivian Ross, a revered stage director who was 9 years his senior, in the late 1960s. They married in secret in 1968, with only 3 witnesses present. Vivian was more than just a partner to Pryor. She helped shape his comedic voice and gave him the emotional depth that informed his work. Despite their deep connection, the marriage faced significant struggles, particularly as Pryor's career began to take off. Vivian was often criticized as the woman who pulled the strings behind Pryor's rise to fame, but he never confirmed or denied these accusations. In 1972, Vivian collapsed backstage after one of Richard's sold-out shows and tragically died from heart failure. Her death left Richard reeling, and his grief marked a turning point in his life. After her passing, Pryor spiraled into addiction, losing himself in drugs and excess. He never spoke publicly about Vivian again, but her influence remained with him. Throughout his later years, despite his success, Richard carried the weight of that loss, and in his pocket, he always kept a silk handkerchief embroidered with her initials, VR. Harry Belafonte. Harry Belafonte was an iconic figure in American music, film, and civil rights activism. Known as the King of Calypso for his groundbreaking role in popularizing Caribbean music in the United States, Belafonte's smooth voice and charisma earned him a place in the hearts of millions. His hits, such as Day-O, the Banana Boat Song, helped define a genre, while his acting career in films like Carmen Jones and Island in the Sun solidified his place in Hollywood history. However, Belafonte was also deeply committed to activism, using his fame to fight for civil rights and social justice. In his personal life, Belafonte had a quiet but significant relationship with Esther Coleman, a woman 20 years his senior. Esther was a Jewish woman with radical political views, and their love was kept largely out of the public eye. Their relationship was built on shared passions for activism and politics, with both deeply involved in the civil rights movement. They traveled together to Havana in 1962 to attend an art summit, which further deepened their bond. Esther's sudden death in 1969 was a devastating blow to Belafonte. She was found dead in her Brooklyn apartment under mysterious circumstances, with no signs of forced entry and only a cup of tea beside her. The official cause of death was ruled as heart failure, but whispers in the theater world suggested that Esther knew too much about the political secrets of the time, and some suspected that her death was more than just a natural event. Belafonte never spoke publicly about Esther again, but he wore a silver bracelet engraved with her name for the rest of his life, a subtle tribute to a love that changed him deeply. Stevie Wonder. Stevie Wonder, a musical genius and a pioneering figure in R&B and soul, has left an indelible mark on the music industry with his groundbreaking sound. Blind from birth, Wonder's natural gift for music was evident early on, and by the age of 11, he had signed with Motown. His career includes a vast array of hits that blend pop, soul, jazz, and funk, including iconic albums like Songs in the Key of Life and Innervisions. With his exceptional talent, Wonder has won an impressive 25 Grammy Awards, making him one of the most awarded artists of all time. In his personal life, Stevie Wonder's relationship with Gloria Hayes, his first wife and a fierce, commanding manager who was 7 years older than him, remains one of the lesser-known chapters. They married in 1972 when Stevie was just 22, and Gloria played a pivotal role in guiding him through the music industry. Known for her no-nonsense approach, she was integral to his rise, handling his business affairs while allowing him to focus on his music. Their marriage, however, was kept relatively private, with little information released to the public about their relationship. Tragically, Gloria Hayes passed away in 1976 under mysterious circumstances in her New York apartment, with no signs of forced entry or foul play. Her death left Stevie Wonder devastated, and he withdrew from the public eye for 6 months, refusing interviews and performances during that time. Many believe that Stevie's period of reclusion was a response to both the loss of his beloved wife and the emotional toll of the incident. While Wonder went on to become even more successful in his career, he never remarried, and Gloria's memory lingered in his life, leaving a quiet, emotional footprint that still echoes in his music. Al Green. Al Green, the soul legend known for his powerful falsetto and smooth delivery, is one of the most influential figures in the history of R&B music. His timeless hits such as Let's Stay Together, Love and Happiness, and I'm Still in Love with You have not only shaped the genre but also made him one of the most beloved voices of his generation. Green's music, full of passion, vulnerability, and sensuality, helped define the soul music movement of the 1970s. However, Al Green's personal life was just as tumultuous and dramatic as his music career. In the early 1970s, Green had a quiet but intense relationship with Ruby Foster, a female pastor who was 8 years his senior. Ruby played an essential role in guiding Al through a spiritual crisis and was a significant influence on his music and his life, especially when it came to reconciling his faith with his fame. The couple's relationship, however, was fraught with complications, particularly due to their unconventional bond in a highly conservative church community that frowned upon their union. The turning point in Green's life came in 1978 when Ruby was found unconscious in her prayer room, having succumbed to an overdose of sleeping pills. There were no signs of a struggle, only a note found by her body that read, "You were chosen but not to love me." Her death left Al devastated, leading him to retreat from his music career for several years. Following Ruby's death, Al Green withdrew from secular music and dedicated himself to ministry, preaching in his own church. The loss of Ruby and the weight of their controversial relationship had a profound impact on Green, and her memory continued to shape both his personal and musical life. Despite his retreat from the mainstream, Al Green's legacy as one of the greatest voices in R&B remains intact, with his spiritual journey intertwined deeply with the music that first brought him fame. Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy is one of the most celebrated comedians and actors of his generation, known for his versatile performances both in stand-up comedy and in film. With his quick wit and ability to transform into a range of characters, Murphy became a household name in the 1980s, thanks to iconic roles in films like Beverly Hills Cop, Trading Places, Coming to America, and The Nutty Professor. His comedic genius and unique ability to embody multiple personas, often with little more than a costume change and a shift in voice, made him one of the most successful actors of the era. However, Murphy's personal life, especially his relationships, often played out under the intense scrutiny of the public eye. In the late 1980s, Eddie had a relationship with Beatrice Lane, an NBC producer who was 8 years older than him. Beatrice, known for her cold, meticulous demeanor, was not someone who made headlines for her personality. She was highly regarded in the industry for her ability to pull strings and get things done. Despite her quiet strength, the relationship between her and Eddie was shrouded in mystery and largely kept out of the limelight. In 1989, just 2 years after Beatrice withdrew from all of her professional projects, she was found dead at the bottom of a swimming pool after attending a high society party. While the official report deemed her death an accident, a housemaid later revealed that Beatrice had been distraught for several nights, speaking of a revoked contract that had devastated her career. After her passing, Eddie Murphy continued to perform but avoided mentioning her in interviews or publicly acknowledging the relationship. In a rare interview years later, when asked if anyone had taught him how to navigate the pressures of fame, Eddie answered with a simple yes, before falling silent, hinting at the profound influence Beatrice had on him, even if he never openly admitted it. Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman is a living legend in Hollywood, known for his commanding voice, charismatic presence, and wide-ranging roles that span drama, action, and comedy. With a career that has spanned over 5 decades, Freeman has earned a reputation as one of the finest actors of his generation, winning an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor for his role in $1 Million Baby and becoming a global icon in the process. His smooth voice and distinguished demeanor made him the perfect narrator, and he became a household name for his roles in films like The Shawshank Redemption, Driving Miss Daisy, and Bruce Almighty. Freeman's personal life, while often under the public's watchful eye, also reveals the depth of his character. In 1965, when Freeman was still a struggling actor in New York, he secretly married Clara Young, a celebrated theater director who was 11 years older than him. Clara was a strong, supportive figure in Freeman's life, and she used her own industry connections to get him roles that he otherwise may not have been considered for. The couple maintained a quiet but profound bond, with Clara guiding Morgan through the often difficult landscape of Hollywood's race politics and providing him with emotional stability as he navigated his career. Tragically, in 1970, Clara passed away unexpectedly in what was described as a suicide. She was found in her bathroom, next to a wine glass laced with sleeping pills and a torn photograph, leading to speculation about the cause of her death. Morgan Freeman, devastated by the loss, never publicly discussed Clara again, even though her influence was clearly significant in shaping both his personal and professional journey. After her death, Freeman went on to become one of the most respected actors in Hollywood, but his marriage to Clara and the quiet grief he carried in the years following her death remained a private chapter in his otherwise illustrious career. O.J. Simpson. O.J. Simpson, once a celebrated American football star and actor, became one of the most infamous figures in modern American history. Known for his remarkable career as a running back with the Buffalo Bills and later as an actor, Simpson was hailed as a hero for his athletic prowess, even being awarded the Heisman Trophy in 1968. However, his later life was overshadowed by the tragic murder of his ex-wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and her friend Ronald Goldman in 1994, for which he became the primary suspect. The subsequent trial, often referred to as the trial of the century, captivated the nation and concluded with Simpson's acquittal, despite significant evidence against him. Before this tragic chapter, Simpson had a quiet but significant relationship with Lorraine Price, a television producer who was 13 years older than him. Their relationship, which began in the early 1970s, was kept largely secret. Lorraine helped Simpson transition from football into a career in television and film, giving him guidance in areas of the entertainment industry that were unfamiliar to him. She is believed to have played a significant role in his rise to prominence in Hollywood. In 1979, Lorraine Price was found dead in her car in an NBC studio parking lot, and her death was quickly ruled as a sudden cardiac arrest. The circumstances surrounding her death have remained suspicious to some, particularly in light of Simpson's subsequent involvement in the highly publicized events surrounding Nicole Brown's murder. Simpson, despite being deeply connected to Lorraine, never publicly acknowledged their relationship. Her death, coupled with his later trial, cast a shadow over Simpson's life, and many have questioned whether her passing was linked to the dark secrets that would later come to light. Billy Dee Williams. Billy Dee Williams is a multifaceted actor, artist, and cultural icon, best known for his roles in the Star Wars franchise as Lando Calrissian and his career in both television and film. With a career that spans over 6 decades, Williams' suave charm and smooth demeanor made him one of the most beloved stars of the 1970s and 1980s. Apart from Star Wars, he also starred in Lady Sings the Blues alongside Diana Ross and earned critical acclaim for his performance in Brian's Song, where he portrayed football player Gale Sayers. While Williams' career flourished in the public eye, his personal life, particularly his relationship with Agnes Taylor, was kept relatively private. Agnes, a Boston-born producer who was 13 years his senior, played a significant role in his life both professionally and personally. The couple met in 1969 during a closed audition, and within months, they were secretly married. Despite the barriers their interracial marriage may have posed during that time, they kept their relationship mostly out of the public eye, with few details emerging about their union. Tragically, Agnes Taylor passed away under mysterious circumstances in 1975, found unconscious in her office, a draft contract for a new production beside her. The police report was inconclusive, and Williams did not attend her funeral. While he went on to marry twice after her death, he rarely spoke about Agnes in interviews. In a rare moment, when asked who had shaped his life the most, Williams paused and softly replied, "Sometimes someone walks through your life just to prove that you were once loved in a way words will never hold." Agnes Taylor remains a quietly influential figure in his life, despite the lack of public recognition. Lou Gossett Jr. Lou Gossett Jr. is a distinguished actor whose career has spanned more than 6 decades, earning him critical acclaim, including an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor for his role in An Officer and a Gentleman, 1982. Known for his commanding presence and versatility, Gossett has portrayed a range of characters in both television and film, making significant contributions to the entertainment industry, especially as a trailblazer for black actors in Hollywood. His career continues to inspire, with notable performances in The Enemy Mine, The Punisher, and Roots, where he played Fiddler, a role that earned him both an Emmy Award and a Golden Globe. Behind the scenes, Lou Gossett's personal life was shaped by a private but deeply significant relationship with Helen Carter, a seasoned New York stage director who was 15 years his senior. The couple met in 1971 during a casting for a political play, and Helen quickly became an important figure in Lou's life, both professionally and personally. It was she who recognized Gossett's potential and pushed him to pursue roles that would challenge him as an actor, especially at a time when opportunities for black actors were limited in Hollywood. Their relationship was not publicized, and they kept their love hidden from the press. They never married, but their bond was clearly strong, with Helen serving as both a mentor and a confidant to Lou throughout the years. Tragically, in 1978, Helen was found dead in a props room under mysterious circumstances. There were no final notes or clear explanations for her death, leaving Lou devastated. Despite the profound impact she had on his life, Gossett never publicly acknowledged Helen again. However, during his Oscar acceptance speech years later, he silently honored her memory with a glance upward, an unspoken tribute to the woman who had shaped his life and career. Paul Mooney. Paul Mooney was a groundbreaking comedian and writer, whose sharp social commentary and fearless approach to addressing race, identity, and politics made him one of the most respected voices in comedy. As a writer for Richard Pryor's iconic stand-up routines and as a central figure in The Chappelle's Show, Mooney's influence on the comedic world is undeniable. His work was revolutionary, pushing the boundaries of comedy and using humor to address some of society's most uncomfortable truths. Mooney's personal life, though often overshadowed by his professional success, included a deep and private relationship with Evelyn Ross, a comedy editor who was 11 years older than him. The couple's marriage, which took place in 1975, was kept largely out of the public eye, a reflection of the often hidden relationships that thrive in Hollywood. Evelyn, a sharp, quiet figure behind the scenes, was instrumental in Paul's rise to fame. As a comedy editor, she helped craft the material that would eventually make Mooney one of the most influential figures in stand-up comedy. Tragically, Evelyn passed away suddenly in 1980, found unconscious in her editing room with a script still in her hand. Her cause of death was not immediately clear, but a note written by her was found, saying, "If they laugh and don't understand, then it's your failure, not mine." After her death, Paul Mooney rarely spoke of her publicly, yet her impact on his career and his life was undeniable. His comedy, which was often fueled by personal pain and social observation, continued to flourish, but the loss of Evelyn remained a quiet and deeply personal sorrow for Mooney. Redd Foxx. Redd Foxx, known for his brash and unapologetically bold humor, was one of the greatest comedians of his time, making a profound impact on the world of stand-up comedy and television. His sharp wit and ability to challenge societal norms through humor earned him a reputation as a master of edgy, often risque jokes. Foxx was best known for his role as Fred Sanford on the beloved sitcom Sanford and Son, which ran from 1972 to 1977. The show made Foxx a household name, and his comedic style became iconic, drawing on his street-smart humor and fearless engagement with race and social issues. However, behind the scenes, Redd Foxx's life was full of complexities, including a deeply personal relationship with Marjorie Lane, the owner of a famous Los Angeles comedy club, who was 6 years older than him. Marjorie, with her strong presence and business acumen, played a key role in Foxx's career, providing him with a safe haven from the pressures of fame. Their relationship, while not publicly known, was important to Foxx. He often sought refuge in the intimacy and support that Marjorie offered him, even if it was rarely acknowledged by the public. In 1968, after Marjorie's death, Foxx's life and career shifted dramatically. She was found dead in her office under mysterious circumstances, and the nature of her death, officially ruled as a suicide, remained clouded in speculation. Foxx, deeply affected by the loss, disappeared from the comedy scene for 3 years, never speaking publicly about Marjorie. Despite the years that passed, her memory lingered in Foxx's performances. After her death, his comedy took on a darker, more reflective tone, but Marjorie's influence on him remained one of his most guarded secrets. Don Cornelius. Don Cornelius is most famous for creating Soul Train, the iconic music and dance television show that brought black music, culture, and style to the mainstream audience in the 1970s and beyond. Cornelius's vision for Soul Train changed the landscape of American television, providing a platform for black artists and music that had been largely ignored by the mainstream media. The show's success, with its energetic dancers, soulful music performances, and vibrant celebrations of black culture, made it a cultural institution. Behind the scenes, however, Don Cornelius's personal life was full of secrets, including his hidden relationship with Celeste Vaughn, a veteran producer who was 16 years older than him. Celeste played an integral role in helping Cornelius navigate the world of television production, and the two forged a bond that lasted for several years. Their relationship, much like Soul Train itself, was kept out of the public eye, with few details emerging about their private lives. Celeste's influence on Cornelius was significant, as she not only helped him develop Soul Train but also supported his broader vision for black empowerment through entertainment. Tragically, Celeste was found dead in the editing suite in 1975 under mysterious circumstances. Her coffee was still warm, and the Soul Train reel for the next episode remained unplayed. Although her death was ruled an accident, many speculated that her passing was not a simple coincidence, particularly given the circumstances of her death. After Celeste's death, Cornelius was publicly silent about their relationship, and his life took on a much more solitary tone. He never remarried, and he continued to shape the legacy of Soul Train while privately mourning the loss of the woman who helped build it. Celeste's death, combined with her erased presence from Cornelius's public life, remains one of the most mysterious and poignant chapters in his story. Behind every legend lies a hidden story, one that challenges perceptions and pushes boundaries. From the powerful connections in Hollywood to the intimate relationships that shape these icons, the lives of figures like Don Cornelius, Redd Foxx, and others reflect a reality far more complex than what the public often sees. Did their personal lives fuel their success or hinder it? What do we really know about the people behind the public personas? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to stay connected with Legends of Black Excellence.